follow the inventory. Housing inventory has been increasing big time, up by about 30+% from a year ago on a national level. However, when looking at the 100 most populous US metros, 10% of them have more houses for sale right now compared to 5 years ago back in 2019. This is based on an article from Lambert of ResiClub.com. He actually looks at 800 plus metros to see how the amount of houses for sale compares to the past several years, and also how the amount of new listings has been changing as well. So let's go ahead and dive right in, because I talk on the channel quite a bit regarding what's happening on a national level. But this article from Lance is excellent analysis regarding inventory levels or inventory changes compared to the past several years, looking at pre-COVID levels and also compared to the past couple of years. This is just posted on May 4th. And this, by the way, is on ResiClub Pro. I believe their annual membership is around $300 per year, which of course is an annual membership, but it's around $300 per year. And it's a fantastic website to see articles regarding our US housing market. And because I am a ResiClub Pro member, I can share this with you guys. So let's go and dive right in here. So in April 2024, by the way, he looks at data from Realtor.com. They actually just posted April's numbers. So he compares inventory levels and also new listings compared to the past several years. He says in April 2024, there's around 734,000 active houses for sale on Realtor.com. I believe this only includes existing houses, excluding brand new home construction. That's a 30% increase compared to April 2023, and a whopping 93% increase compared to April of 2022, when many houses were selling so fast they weren't even being listed as inventory levels. So if a house gets listed for sale back in April 2022, that was the most insane housing market, by the way, I've ever seen. And I've been a real estate agent here in Sacramento for over 11 years. The most insane housing market I've ever seen. Anyways, back in April 2022, back then it was very challenging to get an appointment to look at a house, let alone help a client buy a house, because a house got listed for sale. Everyone contacted the listing agent to schedule an appointment, and their appointments got booked up. And so if you didn't contact the agent within a matter of hours of the house being listed for sale, good luck on actually even showing the property to your clients. So anyways, it says back then, many houses were selling so fast, they weren't even listed as inventory levels. So here's a map they provided looking at the changes of inventory from April 23 through April 24 by each of the counties. So the counties that are shaded in green, especially in dark green, are the biggest increases in the amount of houses for sale, whereas areas in red or orange or yellow here have fallen compared to 12 months ago. So just kind of just eyeballing this, it appears that a lot of the Western markets are up compared to a year ago. However, some areas in Nevada are down pretty drastically compared to 2023. So for example, in Lavender, Nevada, it's down by 15.8%. In Sacramento, California, where I live again, it's at around a 40.3% increase year over year. Whereas Monterey is up by 31%. And also we have San Francisco, which is right here, up by only 9.4%. Other markets that are seeing fairly big increases are much of Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, and also Maine, for example. Now let's take a look at active listings compared to 5 years ago from April 2019. So overall, active listings or housing inventory were about 35% below April 2019's levels, when there was approximately 1.1 million houses for sale. Here's something I absolutely agree with him regarding this. Generally speaking, every housing market's different, but generally speaking, housing markets where inventory has returned to pre-pandemic levels have experienced weaker home price growth or outright decreases over the past 21 months. In contrast, housing markets where inventory remains far below pre-pandemic levels, generally speaking, experience stronger home price growth over the past 21 months. So here's a map showing just that, the amount of houses for sale from April of 2019. And just eyeballing this, it's pretty astonishing to see that much of the eastern or northeastern side of the US are experiencing big decreases in the amount of houses for sale. Much of New York, Maine, Vermont, etc. We're also seeing that in California as well for the most part. So for example, in Sacramento County, we're down by 40% from April of 2019. Also, Phoenix, Arizona is down for the most part. New Mexico is also down big time as well. But the anomaly here is much of Texas. Much of Texas have experienced big increases compared to 5 years ago. So for example, in Brewster, Texas, up by nearly 98% from 5 years ago. Wilson, Texas, up by 52%. And also we have Jeff Davis, Reeves, Texas, as well as Pecos, Texas, up by over 90%. In contrast, in New Haven, Connecticut, it's down by 73%. ResiClub also provided this as well, looking at the 50 largest US metros to see how they fared. So overall, on a national level, we're down by 35% from April of 2019, down by 22% from 4 years ago, but up by a whopping 69% from 3 years ago, and up by 93% from 2 years ago. And again, the year-over-year change up by 30%. Now in New York and also Jersey City, down big time, down by 51% from 5 years ago. Also big decreases in Chicago, which coincidentally, these are areas in which home prices have increased big time as well. Now going down the line here, looking at Houston, Texas, only down by 19% compared to the national average down by 35%. Where else we have Washington, D.C. down by 49%, Philadelphia down by 58%, Boston down by 51%, whereas Phoenix, Arizona, and San Francisco, Oakland, and Berkeley, that's in the East Bay, down by 11% from 5 years ago. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Look at this. San Antonio, Texas, up by 15% from 5 years ago. Giant increase of 244% from 2 years ago. 3 years ago, up by a whopping 279%. We're also seeing big gains in Austin, Texas. That's actually the biggest increase of these 50 biggest metros. Austin, Texas, leading the nation, up by a whopping 26% from April 2019. 4 years ago, up by 46%. Look at this though, 422% gains compared to 3 years ago. Absolutely insane. And also 2 years ago, up by a whopping 342%. In contrast, we have areas like Cincinnati, Ohio, down by 54% from April 2019. Cleveland, Ohio, down by 61%. Sacramento, California is down by 39%, also down from 4 years ago as well, even though we're up compared to the past several years in Sacramento or greater Sacramento area. So when looking at these 50 most populous metros, the area in which they have a lack of houses for sale the most is actually in Hartford, Connecticut, down by 79% from 5 years ago. 4 years ago, down by 71%. Now again, that is vastly different compared to the national average, down by 22% from 4 years ago and down 35% from April of 2019. Here's also a really good snapshot looking at inventory since April of 2017. I haven't found a whole lot of sources when looking at inventory prior to 2019. Realtor.com does an excellent job of this though, because they do provide data through 2017, which is where they got their data from here. So in any case, looking at the number of houses for sale this April, again, around 734,000, higher than the past several years. And of course, way higher, or about double the levels we saw in April of 2022. However, looking at pre-pandemic levels, we should be having a range of 1.1 to 1.2 million houses for sale. Now we only have 734,000. When we search this, looking at Austin, Texas, though, the biggest increase compared to 5 years ago, just absolutely insane. Look at that. Wow, I haven't seen this yet. So this is crazy. All right, so this blows my mind. 8,900 houses for sale, big increase. compared to the past couple of months here. But this is wild though, because they actually have more houses for sale during any month since at least January of 2017, and also way higher compared to the past several years, and also significantly higher compared to 2018 as well as 2017. Also, for example, back in April of 2017, right now they have approximately 33% more houses for sale in Austin, Texas. When comparing this to the national average since April of 2017, we're down by about 39%. In contrast, if you guys want to see why home prices have increased the most in Hartford, Connecticut, this is the answer right here. Only 858 houses for sale as of this April, compared to over 4,000 looking at pre-COVID levels. So for example, April 2017, just under 4.9 thousand houses for sale. Now there's only 858. That means in Hartford, Connecticut, they have approximately 82% less houses for sale compared to April of 2017. Let's also have a look at the greater Sacramento area as well. Around 2,800 houses for sale. This is at least a 3-year high, but way lower compared to 2017 and 2018 and 19. So for example, from 2017, we're missing around 1,000 houses for sale right now. In contrast, looking at San Antonio, Texas, they have around 9,900 houses for sale this April. This is the highest levels in the past 7 years, looking at any single month since January of 2017. In fact, they have approximately 36% more houses for sale compared to April of 2017. One more thing I do want to share regarding inventory levels compared to the past 5 years. I want to share the metros of the 100 most populous metros that are up compared to 5 years ago. So those metros are San Antonio up by 15.5%, Austin up by 26%. Then we have Memphis, Tennessee up by nearly 9%, New Orleans up by nearly 6%, Cape Coral, Florida getting very close at more or less flat from April 2019, but Lakeland, Winter Haven, Florida up by 33%, Daytona Beach up by 3%, Colorado Springs up by 16%, McAllen, Mission, Texas up by 11%, Palm Bay, Melbourne, Florida up by 4%, and then we saw a 7.5% gain in Spokane, Washington. In contrast, let's have a look at the number of newly listed houses compared to 5 years ago. Let's see the biggest increases. Austin, Texas, up by 13.4%. The national average is down 22%. So quite the difference there, up by 13%. Other gains is Northport, Sarasota, Florida, up by 2%. It's flat in Omaha, Nebraska, up by 7% in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Florida. Also, we saw a huge increase of new listings up by 29% in Lakeland, Winter Haven, Florida, which is probably why inventory has increased by 33% from 5 years ago. We're also seeing gains in Palm Bay, Florida, up by 16%, Augusta, Georgia, up by 3%, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, up by 8.3%. So out of the 100 most populous U.S. metros, the biggest increases are the number of newly listed houses from 5 years ago. Lakeland, Winter Haven, Florida, up by 29%. Look at this, from 4 years ago, up by 54%. In Austin, Texas, which is in the number 2 spot, compared to April 2020, technically right at the onset of COVID, up by 43.5% compared to the national average, up by 24%. Let's look at Redfin's data center really quickly here, and then we'll share what's happening on a national level, and then we'll share what's happening in Austin, Texas to share the differences there, because I want to share an update regarding prices there. So when the number of new listings on a national level, according to Redfin, is actually up by 15.2%. This is higher compared to 2023 here, but still lags behind 2022 and 2021. So up by 15% year over year, whereas pending home sales are down 3.4%. So new listings rising, whereas contracts being signed are decreasing year over year. Also, pending home sales at least a 3-year low as well. In regards to active inventory levels, or the amount of houses for sale, also a 3-year high here as well, up by 12% from 12 months ago as well. Regarding the median sold price, that is actually up by 5% year over year, and also very close, more or less on par with all-time record highs. In contrast, let's have a look at Austin, Texas. By the way, this is a public website. You guys can look for any metro. So the median sold price there is kind of hidden right there. It's flat year over year, 469,000. Compare this to the same time frame in 2022, which is right about there. It was at 554,000. So even though it's flat year over year, it's still way below 2021 or 2022's levels, and also more or less on par with what we saw in 2021. I bet new listings are increasing. Yeah, look at that. New listings increasing at least a 3-year high and up by 24.5%. Pending home sales are down 5.5%. Wow, that blows my mind. So even though we're seeing, what is this? 25% more houses being listed for sale, we're not seeing an increase at all regarding pending sales because that decreased by 5.5%. That is a recipe for disaster in Austin, Texas. Let's look at the share of price drops in Austin, Texas. It's up it's at 8.1%, at least a 3-year high in Austin, Texas as well. But please leave me a comment below with your thoughts regarding today's video. If you guys want me to make this a monthly video for you guys, I'm happy to do so. I actually talked to Lambert several months ago, about 1 month after he started the company, and he gave me permission to share this with you guys, even though it's their pro membership data to look at. Anyways, I hope you guys appreciate today's video. If you guys got any value of today's video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Of course, I appreciate you. If you guys want a real estate agent referral, you can email me at jason@meetjasonwalter.com. Or if you want to buy or sell a house in the greater Sacramento area, of course, feel free to email me there as well. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.